So we're gonna be calling Shanon High.
Downey, this is your team. Please get us a Dairy Queen. We miss you, Downey. Please come home, Downey.
My name is Shanon.
Welcome back, everyone. This is another episode of the Shanon Show. We're back. We're live. I had finals last week, so I had to take a week off. I'm very sorry about that. But, I had to stay on that school grind. I'm finished though, so we're gonna have tons of Shanon Show content coming every week. Make sure you follow the Instagram so you stay up to date with merch and all that fun stuff. We actually do have a merch design, so go check that out. And today's guest is the wonderful Calah Thompson. Very excited about this. Calah, how are you doing?
I'm doing really good. I'm doing good today. Thank you.
That's fantastic. Thank you so much for coming on the show. I was very excited whenever you said you'd be interested, so just couldn't wait to get this going. Yeah, so I saw you graduate in Marine Corps Bootcamp, which is absolutely phenomenal.
Yeah.
It's just so much respect for you for doing that. And it kind of took me by surprise. Like, I had no idea. We weren't that close, so I didn't have too much of what was going on with you. But, it's just crazy whenever you see old high school friends, kicking butt like that. And so tell me a little bit about that. What was that like?
Well, so it's funny because you said you were like surprised, and like I surprised like most of my family actually. Like I was like, oh yeah, I want to join the Marines. They're like, huh? That's not what I was expecting. But it was cool. Like I was not really like, I feel like I knew kind of what it was gonna be like, but then I got there and I was like, this is different. This is not what I was expecting. It was awesome though, and I'm really, really glad.
So you caught your own family off guard with that? What did they think was going on? You just it was like the day before, you're like, hey, I think I want to do this.
Oh, by the way. Yeah, so I mean, I didn't like growing up, I didn't, a lot of kids are just like, oh yeah, when I grow up I'm doing this, I'm gonna do this.
Yeah.
And like, they have like all these plans. Like I had one friend who I promise you, like in the 5th grade, she already had like plans about what college she was going to and everything. And I just didn't really do that. So I didn't have a lot of plans about what to do. And so people would just kind of like think, oh yeah, I think, she likes art, so she's probably gonna be an artist. Or
yeah, you did a lot.
Yeah. So there's a lot of like people had ideas about what I wanted to do, and then I just didn't really talk about it. So then when I said, I was like, you know what? I think we need to go Marines. They're like, oh, what? It's the last thing I was expecting.
Yeah, exactly. When did it first come to your head? Like, when did you first think about it?
Well, I think for a long time, like it was just kind of, it was in there, but I never really verbalized it. Cause growing up with like a Marine, like my dad's a Marine. So then, I'd always like watch him do all that stuff and watch him and like, everyone else like in the community, like growing up seeing all the Marines. And I'm like, whoa. Yeah. They're so cool. And like I think I always kind of wanted to be one. I was like, oh yeah, I want to be one of those one day. But it kind of scared me, so I didn't say that. I was like, yeah, it's just because they're cool. Everyone wants to be a Marine. But then I started realizing, no, actually, not everyone does want to be a Marine. So maybe I genuinely do, and that's like an actual me thing.
Yeah, maybe it is for you.
Yeah.
It's awesome that you realize that though. I wonder how many people like have that in their head. They're like, oh, that's just everyone. Yeah. But, I mean, that's pretty cool. I did some Instagram stalking. This is like not weird. But I saw the picture of you like whenever you were younger with the uniform on, like before you left for boot camp. That was just like the cutest thing ever, and I just thought that was so cool. So I just want to share that to everyone. So, I mean, that's absolutely fantastic, and it's come full circle.
It's really cool because I can look back at those pictures and like I can see myself like in all the dress up and all. It's just like I don't know if that's like foreshadowing or what, but
oh definitely yeah. This is a storybook, like this is the way to go. That's fantastic. So you said your dad was a Marine, so I'm assuming that's why you probably chose that branch, kind of looked up to them. Is there anything else that went into choosing the Marine Corps opposed to Navy, Air Force, Army, anything else?
Well, so it's actually a really funny story. Like I mean kind of how I like really chose it. I was thinking about it for a while, and I decided I think like the summer before my senior year, I was like, okay, maybe I should actually like figure out what I'm gonna do. Like I should have like some sort of
good time to figure that out.
So it's like, I should probably do something. And I was like, you know what, I think I'll probably join the military. And I was thinking about it, and I was doing all the thinking. I was like, okay, what branch though? Because I can't just be like, oh yeah, military, show up, hey guys, I'm listening to military.
Yeah.
no branch, just the military.
Obviously.
And I was thinking about it, and I like really considered like the Navy, and I was like, I could be in the Navy. I like ships, I like boats and stuff.
Yeah,
But like every time I would think that, I'd be like, but it's not the Marine Corps.
right.
But it's not the Marine Corps. I don't know what it was, but I was just like, but it's not the Marine Corps. I'd be happy, but it wouldn't be the Marine Corps. And so I kind of like, my dad asked me, he's like, so, you were talking about the military, but what branch? And I was like, oh, the Navy. He's like, okay, cool. What branch in the Navy? And I mean, not branch, like what job in the Navy? And I was like, I think a corpsman. I think I'd want to be a corpsman. He's like, you have no interest in the medical field at all. You don't like blood. You don't like any of that stuff. Why would you want to be a corpsman? I was like, well, I mean, corpsmen get to work with Marines, so that way I'd be like, working with them, but I'm not actually a Marine. And he's like,
yeah,
if you want to work with Marines so bad, why don't you just go and be one? I was like, oh yeah,
it's a good way of putting it. Yeah,
I can do that, right? And he's like, yeah, you can do that. I was like, okay, yeah, I think I'm gonna do that. Like,
that's funny.
Yeah.
That's unbelievable. So much respect for you for doing that. So did you prepare at all? Like I'm assuming you did, like in some ways, like mentally, physically, like how did you get ready for this?
So a lot of it, because like, I don't know, Marine Corps, you think a lot like, PFTs and like working out, like there are a bunch of really strong people, good runners, all that stuff. I hate running.
Oh.
I hate it so much. And so I was like, thinking about all like the stuff, and because of grown up military, like, I feel like I was like in middle school knowing what the like leadership traits are and stuff. So a lot of the things you learn in boot camp, I already had like the knowledge part. Like I had a lot of that, but I didn't like running at all. And so at my recruiting station, they had like PT like twice or 3 times a week type thing. And I didn't like going in the beginning. I didn't like going, but I would like force myself to go anyway. It's like, okay, if you want to do this, you got to push yourself. So I did PT with them like quite a few times a week, and like I didn't exactly love it, but after a while you start like getting to know people, and it gets like pretty fun. Yeah. And then when COVID happened, they stopped the actual PT at the office because like social distancing. They didn't want us all to be meeting. So I had this one recruiter. He was pretty great, and he literally made a workout like plan. He had like something for every single day, and he didn't make us all do it, but he wanted us to do it. He's like, hey, if you want to do this, you should, because like you got to have motivation. And so I would like take this little schedule. And I'd be like, a lot of times I'd like be in my house. I'd be like in the living room. My brothers were watching TV. And I'm like, okay, gotta do my burpees. Gotta like, it was funny.
Serious stuff.
Yeah.
So I'm basing a lot of this based on, I'm not sure if you know Johnny, but he just got done with boot camp as well. So like I talked to him before. So whenever you actually got there, did you feel prepared from that?
Yeah. I mean, I don't think you can ever be fully prepared.
Sure.
But like, there were moments like we'd be running or something, and I'd be like, it's definitely a good thing that I like I hated it, but it's a good thing I did those. Like it was kind of like maybe not like deja vu type thing, but I feel like running, and I could like just like I'm like thinking about back in the pulley program, like running up that hill or whatever. I'm just like, yeah, if I hadn't done that running back then, and I got here, and I was like the same place I was before I had done anything.
Yeah.
No.
I'm sure, yeah. What was day one like leaving home, like just it actually happened? Was there any like, what am I doing? Why am I doing this? Or were you all in?
Yeah. So one of the things, so when I first left home, it was really weird. Like we went from left my house, and it's like so weird just leaving it, because my dad's he's still in the Marine Corps, right? So he's like stationed at this base, but like he's getting restationed this summer. So when I was like leaving the driveway or whatever, I was like, I am most likely not coming back to this house. And it was like so scary to me. I was just like, this is weird. And it like moreover than that, just like I'm about to go to like Paris Island. Like that's crazy. Just like it's just because you're leaving and it's just like any other day, but it's really not. And I got to the recruiting station, and my whole family was like in the little office. We're just kind of like talking to the recruiter. He's like, oh yeah, so she's gonna be great, don't worry about her, don't worry about her at all. And there's like this other dude next to me, and he's like talking to his parents too, and they're just like, it didn't feel real. Like I was like, this can't be happening. Like this can actually be real. Like I'm not actually doing this right. But I mean, I got in the van and I left and I went to MEPS. So this is like kind of rabbit hole, but this is a really funny story. So
Sure.
I don't know if you remember Kyle Stalter.
That sounds really familiar.
So he went to Kubasaki.
Yeah.
And it was really funny. Right before I shipped, you do this like thing where you stay at MEPS like about a week before you leave.
Yeah.
And so after like I moved from like Okinawa, I had no clue where Kyle Stalter went. But I was sitting in the MEPS hotel and I was just sitting there watching a movie, and someone comes up behind me and they go, Calah? And I'm like,
no
what
way.
the heck? And I turn around, it's Stalter, Kyle Stalter, who I knew from like my sophomore year of high school in Japan, was right there. And I was like, what are you doing here? Because I didn't, apparently he had moved to North Carolina too, but I didn't know. And so he's just like, what are you doing here? I'm like, oh, I'm, here to enlist. Like,
what do you think?
What are you doing here? He's like, oh, I'm joining the Marine Corps. I was like, there's no way. That's what I'm doing. He's like, there's no way. When are you shipping? And we had the same ship date. We're leaving at the same time. And I was like, that's insane. And so this is where it gets even crazier. I say, okay, what MOS do you have? What job do you have? He looks at me, he says, combat camera. I said, me too.
Is that you?
Me too. So we have this dude I knew from like sophomore year. Somehow we met up at MEPS, and we literally shipped out at the same time. He went to California. So we went different places, but it's just insane. So I mean, that was just pretty weird, but
that's
anyways,
awesome.
Rabbit hole.
No, you're good. That's crazy. What are the odds?
I know. They say Marine Corps is a small world, and like I'm already seeing that. So after we left, we had like a quarantine period in Atlanta, which was just weird time. It was like we stayed inside our rooms like basically for a whole 2 weeks. Like I went outside one time, and that was because there was a fire drill. And so fire drill happens, we got like these hundreds of, it's just one. So I was ready to go, and so then finally the night comes. We're like going to Paris Island, and I was like, you know what? Maybe I don't actually, because like when I was in the hotel room, I was like, I'm so ready to leave. I don't want to be in here anymore. I want to go outside somewhere. I hate this room. But as the day started, I was like, you know what? It's not that bad here. I can take a nap every night. Like I can nap all day. Like it's not that bad. And then I got nervous. I was like, it was fine. It's fine. But then we finally left, and we got like on our buses to like the bus that takes us Paris Island. It's like that one moment, and like that's like the moment you see in recruiting videos and all that stuff. It's like and it's actually happening. But unlike recruiting videos, this was such a weird drive. It was like one of those buses that has like the little TV screens or whatever.
Oh, that's wonderful.
It was nice. But the bus driver, he's like, yeah, you can watch movies if you want to. I kind of wanted to sleep because, the first day you're at Paris Island, you don't really sleep at all. Yeah. So I was like, I'm going to sleep now. So then I'll get my sleep. This was the time I shipped was like September 8th. This was around the time where like, remember like when Carol Baskin was on Dancing with the Stars? And that was like a big deal for some reason. Everyone just wanted to see Carol Baskin dancing. And I don't know, the craze, it was a craze. Yeah. Literally, people who are going to boot camp, they're like, oh yeah, I'm gonna be in boot camp. I'm gonna be literally screamed at by drill instructors in about 2 hours, but I just really need to see Carol Baskin dance. So they turned on Carol Baskin, and we watched Carol Baskin on the way to Paris Island.
That's the last thing you saw.
It was, and then, I guess right after she finished, it was like a, I don't know what it was, but the TV station was playing like a music video by The Weeknd. And
that's nice.
Yeah, it was nice. And so we're listening to The Weeknd while we're like driving through the gates. We make Marines, and we just got the Weeknd playing.
That's probably not the ideal soundtrack, but
it was interesting. So I was just like, this is so weird. And then we start getting closer, and I like see from the distance, I see the yellow footprints. I'm like, okay, we're almost there. You feel your heart start beating.
Yeah.
You see the drill instructor waiting there, and they're kind of scary. So you're like, oh my gosh. And the weekend is still playing. The weekend is still playing. So I'm like, we need to turn this off. And so I say something, I was like, guys, turn it off. And they're like, we're trying. And so the bus stops and we're still freaking out trying to turn it off. And everyone starts screaming at each other, like, turn it off, get rid of
Turn off the weekend.
The drill instructor is literally on the step. She's about to step in and we finally turn it off and everyone just stops. It was so weird because everyone's screaming, it's chaos, turn off the weekend. Yeah. And then the drill instructor steps on and for a second, it's just silent. And we're just
That's hilarious.
We got it. And then the chaos breaks and she starts screaming and we're all like, we're all playing I Ma'am and all that craziness. But it's such a weird thing. And now I can never hear the weekend without thinking of Paris Island. Like,
oh, I'm so sorry. That's a tough one.
Yeah.
Wow, that's quite the first day. I mean, you're up watching Carol Baskin in the weekend. It's pretty unforgettable to say the least.
It's weird.
Yeah. So talk a little bit about boot camp itself. Like, I'm sure whether it's day one, I'm sure there's a lot of nerves, a lot of emotions going on. What were some of the good memories, the bad memories? Just like a little recap of what that experience was like.
So when I first got there, I was like, you know what, it can't be this bad. I'm tired all the time. And I don't exactly like it when they're screaming at me, but it's fine.
Of course.
But like my main thing is I was low-key thinking, I was like, I just got to get through it. Like, it's 3 months. You just kind of like, you do what you're told. If someone screams at you, they scream at you. If they tell you to run, you run. If they tell you to like do some push-ups, just do whatever they tell you to do. And that's what I was thinking. I was like, I'm just gonna do what I have to do. I'm not gonna do anything extra. I'm just gonna kind of.
Are you kind of like lying low, or are you trying to just kind of get by?
Exactly. I'm just trying to like get through. I'm sitting there, and it's like probably it's like the second day after we get our actual drill instructors, because there's like a whole ceremony. They're like, I'm your senior drill instructor, blah blah blah. And so we just had that, and it was like the third day, and I'm just like, I'm at chow, and you don't have a lot of time to eat. You just like, you get your food, you sit down and you eat. And there's like a lot of like specific things about it, so you have to like sit, you don't look around.
You can't enjoy it, right? Yeah.
No, not at all. And so I'm just sitting there and I'm just trying to eat, and my senior drill instructor comes over and she starts like talking to me. I'm like, why is she talking to me? Why is she here? What is like, why me? She's like, Thompson, why are you trying to just skate through? Why you're just trying to get through it, huh? No, she's like, no, ma'am. She's like, so why aren't you doing anything? You're just there. Like, you really don't do anything, huh? And I was like, this recruit does not do nothing, ma'am. But I mean, I don't know. I was just stressed. I was like, this recruit does not, ma'am. She's like, okay, then do something. Like, I want to see you do something. I was like,
what is she referring to? What?
I don't know. So I guess like I was just doing what I was told. Like, if you tell me to do something, I do it. And I think in the beginnings, like especially, I mean, in the beginning, they just want to like wreck you, to be honest.
Okay.
They want to like screw you up. And so it's like, oh, you do anything? Oh, push-ups. Oh, you want to do something? Okay, tight strip. You're gonna go like, you get IT and all,
Yeah.
So there's a lot of stuff, but they also they were looking for like squad leaders and people to like step up and take some sort of leadership, because you can, like, a lot of times you can't just do nothing. You just kind of like, you do what you're told and then you're out of boot camp. But she wanted people to like actually step up and lead, and so she was asking me, she's like, are you going to actually do something while you're here, or are you just going to get through it? And I was thinking about it and I was like, I should do something.
So there was like a moment, like a realization. Wow.
And I had a letter from my dad. My dad's like, I understand if you just want to get through it and you don't want to do anything, but like, I know who you are, and you're like, you can lead and you can do this. And I was like, yeah, I can do it. And then so when we were heading back from chow, one of the squad leaders, she got fired because she was like, I don't even remember what she did. She forgot to she didn't take the trash to the right trash can or something. I don't know. Something silly. And they're like, oh, you suck. You're fired.
That's
and
it.
So,
what?
I don't know. But so one of the other drill instructors was standing in the front. She's like, okay, so who's going to step up? Who's going to come up here? And I was like, this recruit. I don't even know I did. I just shot my hand up. I was like, me, I'll do it. And then I'm excited to say me because I can't say that.
Yeah.
But I volunteered, and then she's like, okay, you get up here. And I was just like, I am. And so I went up there, and as soon as I got up there, it was like, I have made a terrible mistake. And it got to the point, I don't know, oh, it was bad. Like the next day, they said, squad leaders, get up here. And I just stood in the back. I didn't go. And she said, squad leader, get up here. And I was like, and everyone looked at me, they're like, Thompson, get up there. You're a squad leader, right? I was like, no, I think I was fired.
I think I made a mistake. I think we need to reconsider some things.
I think I was. And then my senior drill instructor, she saw that no one was up there, and she goes, Thompson, get up here. I know you're a squad leader. I was like,
Jeez.
okay. And so I got up there. I really did. I tried to fire myself, and it didn't work. But after, like, you know, I got over that, I was like, okay, whatever. I'm here. It's fine. I really, really I appreciated like being a squad leader because it was tough, because like there were times where I would get like IT'd and like punished for something like someone else did. Like I'd be staying there and this other girl would do something, they'd be like, wow, recruit, you're so stupid, that was terrible, Thompson, you're paying for this. I'm like,
yeah.
But it was really good, because there were like downtimes where like I made sure I would like check on other people, because it's like, oh, I'm a squad leader, I need to check on other people. But like in doing that, it made like a better sense of community. And so I like made some really good friends by doing that. Yeah. And I think you can't really get through a boot camp alone. I mean, obviously you can, because some people do, but like it makes it so much harder. It makes it so much harder. Like there are times now, because I had those connections, I can look back. I mean, it's crazy, but I can look back and be like, man, I kind of miss like, you know, doing that thing with that person in boot camp.
Yeah.
Like,
oh, it is.
Yeah, I don't know. It's weird.
That's crazy. Is it difficult to step up as a leader? Like, I'm not just for you personally, but in boot camp, like, how do you, I don't know, make yourself stand out like that without getting punished? It seems like there's such a fine line between drawing attention to yourself and being a leader.
Yeah, it's difficult, because, you know, sometimes you don't know, or sometimes you do know, and you're gonna get messed up for it, but you have to do it anyway. Like, and sometimes I think it's like what I did. It was just spur of the moment. Like I thought of it and I was like, yeah, I'm gonna do it, and then I just did it. Like, it kind of surprised me. Like I didn't even know.
Surprised yourself.
Yeah.
Jeez. What was the biggest challenge overall for you personally? The whole thing.
I think one of the hardest, definitely the hardest thing was just like, I think being away. So like on like the holidays, like, cause I was there for Thanksgiving and Halloween and some of the other things. It was funny, at Halloween, I didn't even know it was Halloween until I went to medical to get a shot. And the guy comes out to give me a shot, and he's dressed up in like a unicorn costume. And I'm like, what is happening? It was so weird. But
that's funny. Do you just like lose track of time?
Yeah. So one of the things, I'm sure like anyone talking about boot camp, they probably say this, but it's like chow to chow, lights to lights.
Yeah.
And that's like, you just kind of like, that's kind of how you track the time. You just kind of like, you wake up in the morning and you eat breakfast, and then you just think about it. And you're like, okay, just get to lunch, like afternoon chow. Okay, just get to evening chow. Oh, just get to the light. Like, you know, you just kind of, that's kind of how you go. Or you track like how many training days you're on. Like, okay, because every morning you'd be like, oh, today is training day 23 or whatever. And you know, you have, like,
so it's not like Monday.
No. You can track that yourself. Like if you, I had a little calendar that my dad sent. I don't know if I was supposed to have it, but my dad like sent a little calendar with the days on it, and I kept it secret like in my Bible. So I'm like, okay, I know it's today is, and like it would be
Friday night.
It was like gold. It was gold. People would come up to me like, okay, so like what day is it? Like, you know, what time? It was like, what's happening? And I was like, I got you. But for holidays, it was always just so hard for me, because, you know, like again, military kids, you move around a lot, so it's never like, oh, well, I eat Thanksgiving dinner with my grandma every weekend, like every year. Yeah. Oh, I always go to this place, because, you know, you're always in a different place. So for me, like, you know, what Thanksgiving was, or like what holidays are, it's more about like, it's my family. It's about my family. And so that's what I thought about. And so when I like realized it was Thanksgiving, I was like, this is like the first time I've been like away from them for like a holiday. And I was just like, this is so sad.
It's a tough one.
Like, oh, you better suck it up. You think you have it hard? You think you have it hard? Okay, let's go run. I'm like, okay. Yeah. That was definitely like the hardest for me.
Yeah. So talk about the end a little bit. This is like probably the most famous part of boot camp in Paris Island is, you know, with the crucible and like the final few days and graduation. What was the end like for you?
Oh, it was really, it's so motivating. So
Yeah.
if you get to the end and you're still having like doubts, I don't even know if you can. I don't even know if you can do that.
Yeah, at that
'Cause
point.
you get to the end and like, the crucible, it's tough. It's really
Yeah.
hard. But like you've gotten to the point where it's just like you have so much motivation and you're so close that it doesn't even matter like what happens. Like you're basically,
Hmm.
you're not there yet. If you say that, you're like, oh yeah, I've made it. You think you've made it? You haven't. But it was so exciting because right before it happens, you have like your final testing, you have your final drill, you have all
Yeah.
those final things, and it's what you've been working for so long. Because like especially with like drill, you work on drill every day for hours and hours, and
Yeah.
it's terrible. I like drill and I hated it. And you finally get to the end and you're finishing all these things and you're like, wow, we're actually making it. And all those moments where you thought it would never end, you just look
Yeah.
back at it and you're like, but it is. But it is. And you get to like the crucible and you do a lot of like just exercises and stuff. Like, one of the biggest things, we did so much like low crawling
Yeah.
in the mud. And I was there, my crucible was December 3rd through the 5th. So it was really cold, and we
Yeah,
were
I
like
bet.
slow crawling through like the water and mud, and like we would wake up and the ground would be frozen, and you're like, oh, it's freezing. But like, so you'd be doing all these things and it sucks, but then you're just like, but then you have like a moment, you finally finish that low crawl and you stand up and you're like, I'm like 1 minute closer to like getting my GA. I'm like
Yeah.
almost, we're getting closer, guys. Like it's actually real. And you start like at the crucible, you get to start saying like, what we would be like in a meeting with our drill instructor, like who's in charge of our team, and she'd be like, you know what, you can say I now, and we'd be like, this recruit can do what? She goes, you can say I mean, I can what?
Yeah, that must be
Like
like
when you start
in the
to get
moment.
back, like it's crazy, and you get to earn back some of that stuff, and you like actually have to get a conversation with your like drill instructors, and it's like it's awesome. It
I
makes like
bet.
everything feel so worth it, and like I feel like if you can get like a feeling of accomplishment from anything, like
Yeah.
that is it. Like oh my gosh.
Yeah, that's crazy. It's such a weird thing for people who aren't associated with the military that they make you feel like not a person, and they like try to like wrap their heads around that, and like you can't say I and stuff. How do you
Mm.
think that like shapes your boot camp experience though? Like those little things that kind of, I don't know. What do you think about it? I don't know the best way to put it.
Well, I know for some people it's like so hard because like
Yeah.
I would talk to a few of the girls and they're just like it's hard for me because I really I don't feel like
Yeah.
myself. I feel like I'm not a person. I don't have an identity.
Yeah.
And like like I didn't have too much of a struggle with it because like I kind of like I had an understanding of it
Yeah.
because like I knew the purpose and it's to bring us together because it's not
Yeah.
about it's not me. It's not about oh Calah Thompson.
Right.
It's about like all of us. It's about like the Marines.
Yeah.
And so for me it was like I understood that, but I had to like talk to some people. She's like, okay, I know who you are.
Mhm.
Like I know you are a person. I know you have your individual, like you are your own person, but like here we have to like grow together and you have to be there for each other, and like that's the whole thing. And even in that, like even in
Yeah.
me having a conversation with that person and like trying to like comfort her when she feels like not a person type thing, like even that's literally what the like Marine Corps like wants type thing, for us to like come
Yeah.
together and like it's like a weird tactic that like most people wouldn't
Yeah, but I
understand.
guess it works.
You
That
can't
makes
say
sense.
I. Like yeah, it does, and it's so strange, but it works. It's cool.
It's been working for a long time too, so I guess they,
Yeah.
they figured this out.
Yeah,
They
they're like,
got
oh,
it
I've got
going.
it. I've got it now.
Yeah. So let's talk about a little bit more fun stuff. I mean, not
All
that that's
right.
not fun. I mean, that's awesome. I think it's cool. I think a
Yeah.
lot of people listening do too. And let's talk about you being a military kid though. 18 years
Mhm.
leading up to becoming a Marine yourself.
Yeah.
Where were the places that you lived throughout your childhood?
Oh, so we lived a lot of places like multiple times, but they'd be in
Yeah.
different places. I was born in Albuquerque, New Mexico, which is
Wow, yeah.
weird because it was when my dad was going through like college, so he was like transferring from like enlisted to officer side,
Yeah.
so he was like, going through college. So that's not really like a base, and I don't remember it at all because I was like a baby. But we also lived in like Quantico a few times,
Yeah.
and Fort Sill, which is an army base, but
Where's that?
it's in Oklahoma.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a really cool place. Like I don't know, I like looking back at that time, and it's just like it's really neat.
Mhm.
I also lived in Hawaii for 3
Oh,
years.
that's awesome.
Yeah, and then where else? Oh, California. So 29 Palms, the literal desert.
Yeah,
And then Okinawa, which was like by far like my favorite place. Like
by
that was
far.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I know for a lot of people, like Hawaii and Oki is kind of close, but
Yeah.
not for you.
No, I mean I could see it. Maybe it was because like when I was in Hawaii, I was like middle school age, so maybe I didn't
Yeah.
appreciate it as much. But when I got to Okinawa, I was just like I loved it. Like I kind of fell in
Yeah.
love with that. It was so nice.
Yeah, same, absolutely. Actually, I don't think I've talked to anyone who's lived in 29 Palms, though, surprisingly. I know it's a pretty popular place. So I was like living there in the middle of the desert. I've heard like some awful things. Is it as bad as it sounds?
Well, so I was pretty little. I was like a first grader, kindergartner.
Oh, gotcha.
I mean, to me at that age, everything was great. So
Yeah, everything was fun.
But I'm pretty sure I liked everything.
Mhm.
So
That makes sense.
yeah.
Yeah, so Okinawa then, it was, I don't know. When did you move there? Was it freshman year, 8th grade? What was it?
Yeah, I was in between my 8th grade and freshman year. So I was
Yeah.
like just starting high school, and so it felt like awesome because I was like entering kind of like that's low key when you're entering like a new part of your life, new adventure
Yeah.
type of thing. And then it was like a totally new adventure because I'd never been overseas before.
Yeah.
And so then I was like overseas and like, you know, I could like walk like a mile and then I'm like off, like literally in Japan, like off
Yeah.
base. And I was like, I'm not gonna lie, I was kind of scared at first. Like my dad had to like coax me to go off base. He's like, just go off base, just walk around a little bit. I was like, by myself? Like different country? And then he'd be like, take your sister. And I'd be like, okay, Chloe, come with me. And she's like, no, I don't want to go either. So it'd be like sitting there like, this is so scary. And then we finally go off base.
Wow.
And like, you know, by the end, I'd be like running around all over the place, like
Of course.
by myself. And it was like, I loved it. And I have a lot of friends who like here and they'll get like their station, like they'll be stationed somewhere and they're like, oh, I got my orders. I'm going to Okinawa, Japan. And I'm just like, oh my God, you're gonna love it. It's amazing.
Yeah, that must be so weird to see it from the other side though. Like see people actually move there to work. Wow. Yeah, but you living there though, it is weird how like safe it is. I'm not sure if like the stats back it up, but like it is, you don't have any worries when you're off base.
Oh
in
no,
Okinawa.
not at all.
And it's not like that in every foreign country, definitely.
Yeah.
So I think that's just like a really cool aspect of it.
Yeah, for sure. Like there were times like my brother, he was I think he was like in the 5th grade and he would like ride his bike down to the 100 yen store by himself and come back with a bunch of candy. And it wasn't just like, oh, you rode off base by yourself. It was like, oh, why'd you buy so much candy? Like, you know, and it was just so funny that like those were the things we were concerned about instead of like, oh, is Nathan gonna be okay riding his bike by himself? It was, oh, should you be buying all that candy? Like,
yeah.
It was funny.
What do you think is the best part about living there? What do you think was your favorite?
Well, so number one, I love the people there. Like, I feel like, I don't know, I just made so many good friends there. But also, like, I love the ocean. I love swimming and like snorkeling and diving and all that stuff. And so, like, you know, there's like, for some people, they don't like this, but like, if you drive a few miles in literally like any direction, eventually it'll take you to the beach.
Exactly.
And, you know, for some people, they're like, oh, I want to like go on a road trip or something. It's like, I don't care about the road trip.
That's not the place. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm good. And I loved that. And like the food, I like food. So it was just,
unbelievable. Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, fantastic. Food's probably my favorite place. I'm my favorite park. I love my friends too. Sorry guys, but the food, you can't beat the food.
You can't beat it.
The ramen. I'm not sure if you run into this issue. I may not be the same for you, but anytime I talk about it, I just tend to go on a rant about how much I love it there. Anytime I mention Okinawa, and I'm like, oh wait, sorry, I know.
Or sometimes
I'll talk about Oki again.
Simplify it. Like I was sitting at lunch with one of my friends one time, and they're like, so what did you like about Okinawa? And I just sat there and go, everything.
Yeah.
Everything. Wow, that's so specific. I definitely know everything. It's just
kind
great.
Of true though.
I'm like, yeah, that's what I said. I was like, no, but I'm like serious. Like I literally loved like everything about it. Like sometimes I have a hard time thinking like, you know, this sucked about Okinawa. Like I don't know, there's not a lot that did.
The plane ride, maybe.
Maybe.
Yeah, that's probably the only thing that I can think of. Did you get to travel anywhere else? I mean, I'm sure you did at some point or another. Anything
Yeah.
that was super cool?
I got to go to Taiwan and Korea a few times. Yeah, so I went both of those places a few times. I didn't go anywhere else, but
Yeah.
like I literally I love both of those places. Like they're just they're so nice.
Yeah, I went to Korea as well. Thinking of Taiwan, it's a pretty unique feeling just going to a
Oh
foreign
yeah,
country and seeing it firsthand.
it's so cool. One
It
of my
really is.
One of my teachers here, they like to do this thing. So when we're working on our like classwork or whatever, they'll put up like those videos on YouTube where it's just like, oh, POV, you're walking through the streets of Seoul, Korea, and it's like just like, literally like, the whole video is just like going around like, oh, look at this,
Yeah,
look
it
at
has like
that.
millions of views. I should have done this. This is my YouTube
Yeah,
channel
right.
blown up.
Exactly. Yeah, you have
All I
all this.
needed was my GoPro.
Yeah. And so one of them was of Tokyo, and so I got to go to
Yeah.
Tokyo a few times too. And I was like literally I was sitting there watching it. I should have been doing my classwork, but I was like sitting there watching it, and I was like, I've been there. I walked right down that street, and so like literally I turned on like one of my like playlists from like way back like when I
Yeah.
was there, and I turned on my little playlist I listened to in Tokyo, and I was like sitting there watching the screen. I was like,
You're like, I'm back.
like I'm there again. It was so funny.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's fantastic. Let's talk about. I love talking about Oki, but moving back to the States. I think we're actually on the same plane ride back. I think I mentioned that. I don't know.
Oh yeah.
My dad asked me who was on the show, but yeah, I saw you at like the Starbucks. I'm not sure if I said. I apologize if I did not say that.
No.
Yeah, but going back to the States, both for our senior year, we have this in common, I believe. What was that like going back for 1 year, senior year? You have to like get your life together, like have to get everything like post high school life ready, and you're also dealing with the move. Where did you go and how was it?
So we went to Fort Bragg, North Carolina. So it's like again, it's an army base. And so I was a little bit frustrated about it at first. I was like, man, I have all these good friends, and this is like the coolest place ever. Oh, I have to move, and I was like kind of salty about it. But then I got there, and I think like it was like a really like calm year for me, to be honest. Like I didn't get involved in a lot of things. I really focused on like I made the decision to join the Marine Corps that year, and so then I really started to focus on like getting myself prepared, and like it was really good for me.
Yeah.
It was like a good transition year type thing. And then when like COVID happened, a lot of people were like, oh man, I don't get to go to my senior prom with like my best friend who I've gone to school with for 14 years. And then I'm just, or 12.
Whatever.
But I was just sitting there, and I was low-key happy. I was like, you know what? I can like, I don't know, I get to help myself more. And I'm not too bummed about not going to school.
Yeah.
I didn't really care much about it anyway. Like, so it was actually a pretty good year. Like in the beginning, I was like, man, this is so frustrating. But like once I got over that, it was like, it was okay.
Nice chill year to get yourself
exactly.
gathered. Yeah, I can see that. Yeah, and I kind of had the same thing. My prom gets canceled. Of course, everyone's prom got canceled. We're not special, but yeah, didn't really know you guys. I'm like, it sucks, but who are you again? Who are you? I've known you for a few months. And you're phenomenal, but whatever. Did you have any difficulties aside from that, COVID or not COVID related?
Yeah, I mean, COVID just made everything so weird. I get like weird like cabin fever, and so when you're stuck inside for too long, and so where I was, like we were on actual Fort Bragg, we were on like a housing base, and so I was like stuck in my little housing base, and if you go off the housing base, you're literally on a highway. And then on my housing base, like there was like one tiny shopette that literally had like 2 aisles. And so when I was like stuck like for the whole first like month or two of COVID, I didn't go like anywhere. I like stayed on my little housing base and I'd like run laps around it and like do everything there, but I didn't go anywhere. Like even like church services were like online. So I didn't go anywhere, and I was like going stir crazy. I was like, I can't do this. I need to go somewhere. I need to just leave. And like eventually we'd do this thing. We'd like drive like 10 miles down the road and like go hiking. And it's probably the exact same type of like exact same like trees that are in my backyard. But because like I drove like 10 miles, I was like,
they're different trees.
This is good now. Yeah, I was just, oh my gosh, I was going stir crazy. It was crazy.
Yeah, what a weird time. I'm glad it's pretty over with, especially
Mhm.
I don't know, in certain states.
Yeah.
Anyways, how do you think this military kid lifestyle has shaped you as a whole? I mean, all the moving, all the transitions and stuff. How do you think it has brought to you where you are today?
Oh, well, for sure, like resiliency. Like I know that's
Yeah,
like I feel like that's the word to be related with like
yeah.
military kids. Like they are like resilient. I'm pretty sure that's how I learned it. Like I feel like I heard like a military like someone talking about military kids one time. They're like, military kids are resilient. And I was like, yeah, we are. I
I
don't know
like
what that
that
means.
word.
But yeah. And then so I ended up like looking it up or something. I was like, you know what? Yeah, that's
Pretty
definitely
fitting.
and I think it definitely made it so much easier like when like, oh, you have to move your senior year.
What's next for you now? I mean, this is you just embarked on this new journey of yours. You have this new chapter of your life. But what's your plans moving forward?
So right now I'm at the schoolhouse.
Yeah,
So I'm gonna be here. I got here in early February. So I finished boot camp, and then after that I went to MCT, which is Marine Combat Training, and that's about a
yeah.
month long. And then after that, I finally got here in like February, and so it's been a few months, and I'm gonna be here until like at least like August, September,
Wow.
October area. Yeah, so I've got because I'm doing like combat camera stuff, so like the schoolhouse is really long. They
Yeah,
took
explain that. What is that exactly?
yeah, so they took combat camera and then combat like videography type stuff and then graphic design. And then they put it all into one class. So you're learning camera, so you're learning photography,
Yeah,
video, graphic design, but then also public affairs. So I'm learning how to like communicate with the public and do like article writing and all that stuff too. So I'm learning all of that stuff in one class.
wow.
And then I'm gonna graduate that class in like August 27th or something. So
Yeah,
almost September. And then after that, I have like a follow-on course. So like after I finish this one, they'll tell me if I'm specifically a video marine, a graphic design marine, or whatever it is. And so I'll get like the specific.
that's so cool. I didn't know they had graphic design Marines.
Yeah, I honestly didn't really either. Like I heard combat camera. I was like, camera, cool, I'll do it.
Yeah,
And then I like got here and they're like, oh, you have options. I mean, it's not really an option because I don't get to choose. They like look at my stuff and like, oh, hey, you're good at this one. Like,
yeah.
you need one of those, we'll put you there. But it's funny because I don't learn like my specific MOS until like for a while, and then I don't learn like where I go because I'm gonna be here because I have a follow-on class too, so I'm gonna probably be here till like October, maybe
Yeah.
November. And a lot of my friends I went to boot camp with, they're already like in the fleet, like they're already at their duty station, and so
Yeah.
they're doing their job every day and stuff. And I'm still going to school, and so I get a text like so like every 2 weeks, and someone will be like, "So where are you getting stationed?" I'm like, "Okay, again, I'm in
Don't
school
know.
for like 6 months. Like it'll be a while." Yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy. So what would be your job moving forward? Are you like running the Marine Corps Facebook page? Like I just
That could be one of
that
them.
could be
So
wow.
I could literally be like running in that's like one of the things actually. So I'm also learning social media.
Yeah,
I,
wow.
I'm literally getting paid to learn how to manage social media. And
I didn't know they did. This is so like new and hip of them.
yeah,
This is
it's
fantastic.
it's a pretty new like job field. And then we've
I would
got
assume so. Yeah.
yeah, it's really cool too because my school has all the branches. So I'm in a class with like
Oh,
Army,
wow.
Navy, Air Force. I don't have Coast Guard, but they do live right above me, so
Yeah.
I see them every day too. But it's like it's really interesting. I had like a test a few weeks ago about how to properly write social media posts. It was so bad. I was like stressing. I was like, Mom, I'm so stressed out. I don't know how to write an Instagram post. Like,
Like I've been doing this for years, but
exactly. It's weird.
wow. That's so like perfect for you because I know you're like such an artsy person and like you
Mhm.
can be a Marine at the same time. That's so exciting.
Yeah, I love it.
That's fantastic. Wow. People do your research, guys. Consider Marine Corps got more options than I
Yeah.
realized.
Oh yeah.
Fantastic. I thought, geez. Um, so I guess one question I want to ask because I kind of skipped an accent. Do you think that being a military kid prepared you for boot camp? With resiliency. Did
Oh
we already
yeah.
talk about this? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
One of the other things is like I never really realized how much it would have helped me. But there was this one time, so like, the first night you don't sleep at all. And so
Yeah.
you get there and you're just doing all this crazy stuff and you get issued a bunch of gear and uniforms and stuff. And so when I got there, it was still the summer. So with in the summer, Marines wear their sleeves up, and then
Right.
in the winter they go down and all that stuff. And so they got like they kind of like threw the uniform, we got all their uniforms, and we're sitting in the all weather facility. So it's like this giant like stadium type thing. Well, not giant, but it's something.
Sure.
And we're all sitting in there, and the drill instructors are like yelling at us. They're like, "Oh, you better roll your sleeves right now, roll them up and put them on." And everyone was just like, what does that mean? And I'm just sitting there. I watched my dad roll his sleeves like every day. I know how to do it. And I was in ROTC for a little bit, like for a while too, so I knew how to do
Oh
it.
yeah.
And so I rolled up my sleeves and I put them on, and obviously they weren't good because I hadn't slept in news boot camp, but
Mhm.
they were decent. And everyone was like looking at me, they're like, how did you do that? And I
This
was
is
like,
not
okay.
fair.
I was like sitting there, and the drill instructor just running around yelling at everyone, and I'm like helping everyone roll up their sleeves, and like they looked okay. And so I think that helped make the first day like a little less chaotic. And I think
Yeah.
I was really glad too, because from the beginning, some people kind of like knew that if they needed to, they could come to me. And then so like people would come to me like throughout like when we actually started the training and stuff. Literally, it would be the middle of the night, and someone would come up to me and they'd be like, can you help me roll my sleeves? Can you help me with my hair? I'm like,
Jeez.
I really wish I was sleeping, but okay. Yeah, it was yeah,
Wow.
it was in
So nice of you. Wow.
yeah.
You mentioned ROTC. Did that prepare you, do you think, anyway, with maybe the knowledge?
Okay, for sure, the knowledge, yeah.
Yeah.
Because there are a lot of things like so for like Kubasaki, their program is like awesome. So I guess like almost shout out to them, but they're awesome. Like for even like
Yeah.
promotions and stuff, they'd be like, oh, you need to make sure you like have your knowledge, you study this, you do this.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's like I had like a lot of the basic knowledge like down, and that made me so less stressed when I got
Yeah.
there, because I knew so many people, they'd be like freaking out, like because you don't have a lot of free time. Your free time is your sleep. So it's, oh, are you gonna
Yeah.
sleep or are you gonna study? Like, what are you gonna do? And so people would be
Dang.
like freaking out. They're like, I don't know my rank system. I don't know this. I don't know my general orders. And I'd be like I knew them. And so sometimes I'd help people, but other times I could literally just sleep peacefully at night, knowing that like if I get asked,
Mm-hmm.
I'll know. Like
Yeah,
it was
that's
definitely
good.
it helped me so much.
Yeah, shout out to Kubasaki, I guess,
Oh yeah.
with all that. They seem like pretty legit. I want to say, like, some people say some funny things
Oh,
about
for
ROTC,
sure. I
but
moved to my other school. It was an Army ROTC, which different branch, but like also
yeah,
you can just tell like different intensity, different like people were just they just acted so much different.
yeah,
Like it's pretty awesome.
I talked to Alex on the show as well, and he talked a lot about that, and he took that very seriously and did a phenomenal job with everything.
Oh yeah, I did.
What's the craziest thing that happened in boot camp? Was there any one thing in
Mm.
particular?
Oh my gosh, there's so many crazy things. I don't even know.
It's okay. I don't have to put you on the spot.
It was so weird. We had so many different drill instructors too. Like our team changed like 3 times, like
Yeah.
completely changed. But this isn't really crazy, but kind of like a fun fact. I have one drill instructor, and she's the captain of the Marine Corps basketball team.
Oh,
3 years.
another thing. I didn't even know Marine Corps had a basketball team. Jeez, you're
I
helping us out so
honestly
much.
didn't either. I didn't either. I was sitting there, and and then another thing, our battalion sergeant major, right? She
Yeah.
is the only female in the entire Marine Corps to have a black belt with 4 tabs. So
Oh,
like she's like
so
the
she could
highest.
mess you up.
Oh yeah, yeah, she could. And she's the 1 out of 10 Marine Corps. Like so she's one out of the first female out of everyone. And then
Yeah.
she's like the top 10 of like the whole Marine Corps.
Wow.
So she's amazing. And she taught me how to do a somersault basically, because I couldn't do it. I don't know why, but I
Is that a
couldn't.
requirement?
Basically, it's like called the front roll. It's not exactly a
Oh.
somersault, but it's kind of like it. And I don't know why, but I could not get it. I was at boot camp and I was like trying to do it, and you're supposed to like go over your shoulder, but for some reason I just kept like throwing myself onto my neck. I was like, oh. And my drill instructors, they're all standing there, and they're not supposed. They're laughing, and I guarantee you it was hilarious to see this little recruit just boom, throwing herself on her head. But so the battalion sergeant major, she comes over there. She's like, okay, well, let me help you out. And so she taught me how to do a forward roll. This lady, amazing, awesome sergeant major. I have so much respect for her. Top 10 in the Marine Corps, and she taught me how to do a forward roll, because
Wow.
I couldn't do it.
What a moment.
Right.
Watching you throw yourself on your neck. She probably just couldn't help it. She's like, she didn't want you to hurt yourself.
Yeah, she's like,
It's
this
painful.
girl is going to kill herself. I need to.
You can't let the somersault be the end of you.
I know.
That's
That'd be
funny.
so embarrassing. You go to boot camp and you die of a somersault.
Yeah, out of all the
Okay.
things. Yeah. That's hilarious. Well, Kayla, that's all I have for us today. It's been an absolute pleasure talking to you. Thank you so much
Thank
for
you so
being on the
much. I
Shanon
was
Show.
really glad to be on your show.
Yeah, I love hearing about, these experiences, especially boot camp ones, because it's so like you don't hear too much about it. I think
Yeah.
people need to get out a little bit more. I'm not sure. It was fun. Anyways, I'll see you guys next week. Thank you again, Kayla.